Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. For us, and that's, I think, a lot of people who use social media to communicate, to discuss, to analyze, to give our opinions, assessments as so-called free people, we are very familiar with the algorithms and the limitations imposed by some other free people on their platforms. We are all familiar with community guidelines as determined by some people who are in the community, but other people have no say. Remember, these are platforms. And my point is, I know at least, I don't know about you, that certain ideas are promoted by certain media outlets and social media outlets. I'm talking about our platforms. I'm talking about Facebook, I'm talking about YouTube, I'm talking about Rumble, I'm talking about TikTok. They have their own agendas. The guy's in charge of this. It's not like, oh, say whatever you want as long as you don't threaten, you don't show this kind of videos children, blah, blah, blah. It's fine. As long as you don't instigate and violence, it's fine. No, it's not like that. It's more. You can talk negatively or express an opinion or an assessment, a true assessment of, let's say, a person or a group or a country that these guys don't like. We are familiar with that. They can ban you, they can close your channel, they can fire you, they can put pressure over there, through all kind of mechanisms. Now, what's going on here? We love democracy, supposedly, in its purest form, as we are told we have. Purest form in a way that it's free and fair. All right? It's not direct democracy. It's representative democracy. That is, we, the people, vote for whomever promises to do something for us. And as a group, he will, say, I'm going to work for this interest, I'm going to do for this and that, for people. But it seems like money is more important than actually the votes. Why? Because you get the votes with the money. Okay? And that is, who gives the more money, you will hear from the guy more and more than the guy who doesn't have money. Good ideas, no money, loses against bad ideas with money. That's democracy, supposedly. And we have special interests. And that gets me to this article here, where we have TikTok, we have AIPAC, and we have our senators and elected representatives and the money. I will show you, just using this example, how democracy works in the United States of America and how other countries are supposed to copy it. Why? Because these guys have the monopoly. So once you're going to apply the same rules over there, this guy with money, go and buy everything you got, like Soviet Union, Romania, Hungary, Poland. The same thing happened with the privatization after the Eastern Bloc fell. Who got the money? The guys from the West. So they bought shit. How? Some people just got billionaires and millionaires in a few years, very short years. How? They got some loans. How in the fuck you got loans when you started from the same level with everybody else as a poor ex-communist? Well, some loans from outside. Who would give you loans from outside? Based on what? If you're their man and you drag them in, or they have access through you, through the Russian economy, then they take over. The same thing happened in Romania. Clear? Clear. Let's move on. So I'm going to show you how money and how AIPAC helps democracy in the United States of America and promotes it and uses its rules, nothing illegal, to do what? To do what? Maybe AIPAC doesn't like certain kind of views. Or maybe some other group doesn't like certain kind of views. Let's say JP Morgan. And he gives a senator some money. The most that you could ever give. You can't compete. Don't you think that JP Morgan has some leverage on that paid horse? Which is bribery right here. But no, it's campaign donation. Of course he does. So that guy who gets elected, he's not going to attack JP Morgan, guaranteed. Why? You don't bite the hand that feeds you. And that's not us who feed those guys. Those guys make not enough money. When they get out of the, elected status, right, as elected officials, then they get the money. From where? Not from me. From the same guys that help them get over there with a lot of money, and then they go back over there, and then they get the money. Doesn't that show like something that's not really kosher? I think it does. So let me show you. Sputnik, sponsor of TikTok ban and Iran-Palestine sanctions, gets 1,400% bump in AIPAC donations. Now, I'm not picking, obviously, on AIPAC. It could be somewhere else. I don't know, JP Morgan or, some other guys of the same stripe. 1,400. So there you have it. So do you think this guy is going to work for us or is going to work for the interest who pays him, who helps him get elected? I'm going to give you some names. I'm going to give you some amounts of money and some percentages to show you how in the hell these guys are supported, all right, not controlled, just supported by interest. In this case, this one. The 21st Century Peace Through Strength Act. This is for baboons only. Passed the U.S. House of Representatives on Saturday as part of a package of bills that also included military aid to Ukraine, Israel, and the Indo-Pacific. U.S. Representative McCall, Republican of Texas, who sponsored the 21st Century Peace Through Strength. Peace through war. Good job. Love through rape. What the fuck is this, man? Act that passed the U.S. House of Representatives saw contributions, right here, contributions to his campaign from the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, that's AIPAC, increase an incredible 1,413% during the 2024 election cycle when compared to the 2022 election. In 2 years, 1,413. Imagine your salary increases this much. Just put it in perspective. All right, so let's see. Further, the 21st Century Peace Through Strength Act includes the Repo Act, which enables Biden to seize Russian assets frozen in U.S. banks and send them to Ukraine. That's a thievery right in our faces. If some people vote for something and it becomes a law, it doesn't mean the law is just or it's legal compared with other, with the standards of morality, let's put it this way. It doesn't mean if this is voted by these guys, it makes it right. For me, it's thievery. You have to steal someone else's goods, property. That's what you do. You have no right. But hey, I take my right. You. Well, the Russians will do the same thing. They already warned. We're going to hurt you. That's what they said. So, let's move on. And it says, a provision that would essentially ban TikTok from the US. Sanctions against Palestinian resistance groups. So this is the little Repo Act. Right? And these things, the 21st Century Peace Through Strength Act includes that. Okay? So what's going on here? You have some elected officials push a certain kind of legislation. It passes. And the consequence of that legislation will be that, let's say, TikTok, which they claim it has an algorithm that doesn't hide truth, or at least promotes other things that, let's say, YouTube promotes or Facebook promotes, skewed, false, double standard. They do it the other way. So these guys, it shows you who's behind and who approves of this legislation. 1,413%, I think it's a pretty hefty price, isn't it? So let's move on. According to a statement released by McCall, when the bill was introduced, it will be, and I'm quoting, the most comprehensive, I hate this word, comprehensive, sanctions against Iran that Congress has passed in years. Now, Iran is Israel's enemy, isn't it? The legislation is expected to clear the Senate. It will be. And signed into law by US President Joe Biden this week. It will be. While it is unclear if, how, or why AIPAC would push for what the Russians call, and I think it is, theft of Russian assets, the other major provisions of the bill are directly related to issues AIPAC and other pro-Israeli lobbying groups advocate for. Let's hear it. The sanctions provisions of the bill are self-evidently pro-Israel actions, designed explicitly to harm Israel's adversaries in the region. The TikTok ban, that's why I'm focused on freedom of speech, is slightly obscured, but the app has been blamed by politicians and Jewish groups alike for the rise in support among young people for the Palestinian cause. In late October, this guy, I just made a video on him, called the app a purveyor of virulent anti-Semitic lies, end quote. Because he knows everything. He knows everything. He knows everything that goes in TikTok, so he knows that it is a purveyor of virulent. He knows that. But what is YouTube? A virulent purveyor of what kind of lies? If I say right now something true and say about something that I'm not supposed to because I'm a free person, but you're not supposed to say it without being afraid of reprisals, what is that, Mr. Josh Hawley, Senator? Billionaire Bill Ackman, Jewish, one of Israel's most virulent supporters who gained infamy last year after publicly doxing Ivy League students who made pro-Palestinian statements. So if you make a certain statement in the wrong direction, these guys will say, well, so we know who's who, what's what, so we cannot hire them. What has one have to do with the other one? Well, you're dumb, Emily, you don't understand. I don't understand, that's why I'm upset about it. Blame the app directly for the support of Palestine among American youth. And I'm quoting this Ackman. TikTok is massively manipulating public opinion, he wrote, in the wrong way that you don't like. So then you're going to act to have these guys remove what you don't like. Freedom of speech? Where are you coming from, Ackman? What are you? Are you American? Now I'm quoting, compare the generational differences on support for Hamas. Well, I can compare a lot of generational differences in diversity, for instance, and hiring processes. How about that one? Oh, that's good because that fucks our country and our people for the benefit of you. But this is wrong because it affects you. Yeah. So then what is it going to do? Infringe our free speech. That is just as I said, temporary, whatever. It's not a right. It's a privilege, temporary privilege that can be taken and given whenever they decide. So Ackman wrote on Twitter, probably TikTok should be probably banned. Why? It says something Mr. Billionaire Ackman doesn't like. Ackman's sentiments were reflected by McCall himself in November, when he too blamed TikTok and China specifically for young people turning against Israeli actions in Gaza. All of them. And I'm quoting, China controls the algorithms on TikTok. And who controls YouTube's? CIA? Facebook? Who? CIA? All right, I'm not going to go deeper into that. So if you type in Israel or Palestine, you are going to get a lot, oh that's bad, of pro-Palestinian, and then they link Palestinian with these guys here, materials and videos pop up, and that's primarily the source of education of young people. You know how freedom of speech and freedom of expression works, you fucking idiot? I can watch whatever I want. I want that to be available. Everything I want to be available. Everything. I understand threats and incitement to violence and children, no. Got that. But the rest, if I want to hear what that guy says, how idiotic could be for you, if I want, there should be nobody to infringe my freedom. By what? By banning that guy? That's not freedom of speech, is it? To protect me? Fuck. Protect if you're on the baboons. Oh, that's exactly what he wants to do. Protect the baboons who is going to vote for the baboon. I want to be able to watch whatever I feel like, if I'm free. Even if someone who incites things, I would like to be able to watch that and make my personal assessment. No, he's fighting against me to be able to be free to watch whatever I want. That's fucked up. Freedom, land of the free. It is not just politicians blaming TikTok for the rise of support of Palestinians. In December, Anti-Jewish League, Defamation League. All right. It says TikTok, if you will. No, I don't want. I don't will. I will not. It's a 24/7 news channel of so many of our youth people, young people, and it's like Al Jazeera on steroids. Amplifying, I mean, you have no authority, my man. You have no authority. But hey, you're talking. Now, let's see. Let's go to the nitty-gritty, the money. For years, McCall was a non-entity for pro-Israel lobbying groups like AIPAC. Elected in 2004, McCall received no contributions from pro-Israel groups until the 2020. 2020 cycle, when another group, pro-Israel American PAC, contributed $32,600 to his campaign. Have you ever contributed this much? Do you have? Are you allowed? So a car given, his largest donor that year, according to Open Secrets. So according to these guys, the largest donor, according to those guys. The next cycle, McCall received $7,900 from AIPAC itself, in addition to another $6,000 from other pro-Israel groups. But it was not until this year that McCall became the Republican darling for AIPAC in the House of Representatives, according to these guys. To date, McCall has received $119,550,000 from AIPAC in 2024 alone. Is it a house? It's like, anyway, a Mercedes S-Class. Alone, a 1,413% increase, and by far his largest contributor, dwarfing the second place Access Technology Solutions, which donated $16,600. So what do you think? Well, you know what to think. Open Secrets list the and I'm quoting, the pro-Israel industry, including AIPAC, having contributed $372,468 to McCall's campaign overall in 2024. You got that? Do you got that? That's how much. And go and tell the children, you can be a president, U.S. president one day. That's a lie. Yeah, okay. I mean, you can, but technically, on the books. A 681% increase from the $47,673,000 in contributions he received from the pro-Israel industry, quote-unquote, in 2022. Now, it says this cycle, McCall is AIPAC's top Republican recipient in the House and is the 6th overall House recipient of AIPAC funds. Only Democratic representatives Richie Torres, New York, Hakeem Jeffries, New York, Kathy Manning, North Carolina, Josh Gottheimer, New Jersey, and Pete Aguilar, California, sit above McCall on the list. All of them voted for the bill. On the bill, 10 sponsors, so they're co-sponsors. All Republicans. 4 of them list AIPAC as their top contributor for this year. Wilson, Representative, South Carolina, McGreen, Tennessee, Douglas, Colorado, and this guy right here, Dan Kreshno, the guy with a patch. This is Colorado, is it? And Texas. Another co-sponsor, Representative Brian Fitzpatrick, Pennsylvania, lists AIPAC as his second largest contributor. Only Delegate Uma Amata Coleman, I don't even fucking know what that is, from American Samoa, who does not have voting rights in the House, and U.S. Republican Maria Salazar, Florida, co-sponsored the bill without taking campaign contributions from AIPAC or any other pro-Israeli group. So, what do you think? He says, Sputnik emailed McCall's campaign for comment on the increase in AIPAC contributions, but did not receive a response by press time. It will never receive one. So, this is just a case of AIPAC, but some people, not me, see a connection between special interests, and if you tell me this is the exact way democracy is supposed to work, then I don't know. I don't know what the fuck you're supposed to do then. I tell you. So, special interest, I'm a special interest, and I compete with one that can donate $320,000 to someone. So, okay, I've done my special interest. Special interest donates to someone, for that someone to promote certain laws, to push certain laws or certain policies, vote for something that these guys want. And that guy that affects our freedom of speech in this case, I would say. TikTok. Am I for TikTok? I don't even care about TikTok. TikTok should be over there. I think it should be a competition of ideas. A competition. But the problem is you have 2 or 3 big, in this case, platforms, and they have the monopoly. And everything else that comes, it's either destroyed or it's going to be bought. And they're going to parrot the same narrative of these guys. So these guys are upset that the other side is winning somewhere. You can't allow that to happen. So this guy is going to win again. McCall is going to win again his elections. He's going to promote the same thing. He's going to get the money. And this is democracy for you. How can I compete with those guys? I can't. But there are some billionaires who can. But the moment they do it, they will be doxxed. They will be exposed as being interfering with. And this is about freedom of speech. And not only. And you can see a connection, but hey, if you want to see it. If you don't want to see it, think that this is normal. All right? I don't think it's normal whatsoever. I think this is a parody of a democracy. It's a parody. It's a controlled parody. And some people call it, how is that? The political class in the same bed with big business. And they say it has to have a nationalistic. No, it doesn't have to have one. It's the cahoots between these guys. And if you have the mass media together, how would you call that one? I mean, these guys are paying left and right for people to say what they want them to say and bury other people's ability to say something they disagree with. And I'm talking about talking. Talking, my friends, talking. Why? Because TikTok competes with these guys. All right, my friends, here is your democracy for you. And yeah, I said many, many times, in other countries, this kind of campaign donation is considered bribery. Bribes, right there. I do something so you can push something for me. How is that called? I'm competing with you? Compete with AIPAC. Okay? Or JP Morgan or with Goldman Sachs. I dare you. Super, triple dare you. Big money, big money. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.